This week, I'm responding to the responses of two consultants for two scenarios, and then I will state which consultant response was more effective. Scenario number 1, external consultant, early in the consultation relationship, the 10-minute talk. In the first scenario, the consultee talks to the consultant about how stressed her job is, especially when it comes to managing her employees. The consultee states that they're having trouble pleasing all the employees because they want different things from the consultee. The two different consultants give the consultee advice on what they should do. One consultant agrees that it must be a lot of pressure to keep everyone happy, and nobody realized how hard this is to accomplish. The second consultee said that you are not being assertive enough, and your employees do not respect you anymore. Therefore, I think you should become more assertive, and this should be one of our goals, and I can help you achieve this. The consultant response, which I felt was more effective, was the one done by the first consultant. This consultant was very empathetic and made me want to talk with him further. Consultant number 1 was very welcoming, understanding, and non-judgmental. The consultant's response about how hard it must be creates a feeling in me that yes, this consultant understands what I'm going through. As a result, I would be more willing to share my feelings and problems with this consultant. When consultant number 1 said that he understood, I breathed a sigh of relief. I knew that finally I was not alone, and finally there was someone there who understood. Consultant number 2's response, on the other hand, left a very bad taste in my mouth, and I got angry. My defenses and walls went up, and I thought, how dare this stranger say this about me and insult me like this? Consultant number 2 only met me for 10 minutes and was very rude. I felt that consultant number 2 was saying I cannot do my job properly and thought that he had no right to say this. The consultant's response that you are not assertive and your employees do not respect me left me thinking that you are so wrong. My employees respect me, but I definitely do not respect you. And right then and there, I became more assertive, and I ended this consultation relationship. Consult number 1, on the other hand, was very caring and empathetic, had excellent interpersonal skills, which Horton and Brown state are very important early in the consultation relationship. Consultant number 1 does not judge and is just there to listen and support you. The consultant was also very encouraging and inviting. As a result, I wanted to share all my problems and feelings with this consultant because I truly felt that this consultant understood. If I were a consultant, I would be very supportive to the consultee. According to Calpan, it is important that you get to know the consultee and gain true trust and acceptance, and fully understand the situation before diagnosing the problem. Eventually, I would ask leading questions, such as why do you feel that your job is so stressful? And what can I do as a consultant to make your job and to help you have a less stressful job? What can I do for you? What new skills would you like to learn so that you are not drained every day? According to Tom Barty and Byrne, this approach and type of questioning would help the consultant gain confidence that the problem would be solved. Talking to the consultee about these new skills that they would learn would also cause the consultee to state that perhaps I could learn some leadership and management skills so I could be more effective to my employees. Eventually, the consultant would guess I could be more assertive. We as consultants all know our weaknesses, and we usually share them with the consultant who we trust and understands us. However, it is important that they reveal their weaknesses on their own. Therefore, I would try to relate to them and let them know that I am on their side, or they would feel more free to tell me what is happening to them in the workplace. Scenario number 2, internal consultant. Consulting asks the school counselor for help with a child. In the second scenario, the consultee, who in this case is a teacher, is really worried about the student Madison, who cries all the time in class. The teacher is very concerned that something may be happening at home and asks the consultant, who is the school counselor, for help. The first counselor says to the teacher, "Please tell me more of what you're seeing." The second school counselor asks, "What time is the next faculty meeting or staff meeting?" When I look at the two responses by the consultants, I felt that first school counselor was more effective. The consultant seemed to really want to hear about the problem and wanted the consultee to tell them what was going on so that the problem could be solved. The second consultant was completely ignoring the consultee and was just interested in knowing what time is the faculty meeting. Perhaps because the consultant wanted to be done with the faculty meeting so they could go home early. I felt that the first consultant really cares about the child and their well-being. By listening to this consultee, it also showed that they cared about the consultee and were not too busy to talk to them. Brown et al. 2011 states that it's important that the consultant make the consultee feel very welcomed and heard. This is exactly what the first consultant does. The second consultant, on the other hand, is not even listening to the consultee's concerns. It is like they're not even there. Instead, this consultant is thinking about other things, like the next meeting at school. When I read the response of the second consultant, I felt discouraged and I felt totally insignificant. I thought I am never going to ask the consultant number 2 for advice ever again because they're too busy to listen to me. However, at that moment, if the consultant was probably too busy, and that is why the consultant changed the topic. However, the consultant number 2 should have been upfront and honest and say, "Can we meet in an hour to talk about this?" instead of asking totally inappropriate questions which were off topic. Levitt 2007 states that consultants who never listen never hear the problem, and as a result, the consultation fails. Instead, consultation requires the consultant to be really listening to what is happening. Fogarty and Perkins refers to as active listening, which the consultant number 2 is clearly not demonstrating. This second consultant is giving his complete attention, and his mind, one, is not wanting to utter thoughts. Instead of listening with their entire body, and they hear everything they're saying. If I were the consultant because of this internal relationship with an organization, I would also be sure to outline the parameters of the consultation and any ethical concerns, confidentiality, and data collection. According to the structures defined by Brown, I would assure them that anything they say will be totally confidential. This is especially vital in an organization where everyone knows everyone else, and as a result, confidentiality can be sometimes blurred. If I were the consultant, I would also show active listening, and I would have the consultant tell me everything he's observing. While they're talking, I would be totally engaged in what the consultant had to say. I would also take notes for future reference, and which really showed them I care about their student, and I want this problem to be solved. Then I would have the consultee come up with solutions to the problem. Since the consultee is already thinking about the home, then perhaps they could be guided in the next step of contacting the parents to see if they notice crying at school. I would also encourage them telling what's happening with Madison by asking them to expand on the crying incidents. Then once we came up with solutions, we could work on the crying in the room and come up with further strategies such as you cry less in the classroom. Then we would set up future time when we could continue to work on this and outline how many sessions do we need to accomplish this goal. So according to Doherty, the consultant can solve similar dilemmas like this on their own in the future.